welcome. Call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Let us pray. Our God, our Creator, and our Sustainer, who made us in your image and formed us to live in community with each other, renew the ties of mutual respect which form our civic life. Give those in leadership roles the wisdom and the courage to do what is fair, true, and compassionate. That in all that we do, we give honor to your holy name. Amen.
Amen. Do you want me to pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Ms. Keeling, the roll, please.
Carrie Hodge, Ward 1. Here. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
I'm here.
Louis Tosmo, Ward 3.
I am here too.
Lindsay McDaniel, Ward 4.
Here.
Diane Tate, Ward 5. Here. Taft Rand, Ward 6.
Here.
It's been a while since I've gotten to say, hail, hail, the gang's all here. We have got first order of business, the approval of our meeting minutes from our October 6th meeting. Council, you've had these well in advance of this evening and had an opportunity to review them. Now would be the opportunity to make any edits, or if there are none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. We have a first reading of a zoning ordinance this evening. Actually, I got ahead of myself. Randy, I'm so excited to see you speak. I just want to see if Tom was paying attention. Mr. Reinhardt, if you get us started out, please.
Honorable Mayor and Council, this is the second reading of the amendment to the budget ordinance for the fiscal year 2015-16. This is usually done after we do the close or during the close process on an annual basis, and it basically will bring us back into GAAP compliance. There have been no changes since the first reading, and I recommend your approval of the attached ordinance amendment.
Thank you. Any questions for Tom on this item?
I think we mentioned on the first reading that this is budget neutral. It doesn't add to
Correct.
expense or revenue, it just
Correct.
balances things.
Basically, all it's doing is making our actual numbers equal to the budgeted numbers.
Any other questions or comments? And if not, a motion is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now, Mr. Menino, if you'll get us started on file Z16-04.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. This is a proposed rezoning for approximately 1.5 acres. Property is located along Grassdale Road. The parcels are currently zoned office commercial. The applicant is proposing a climate-controlled self-storage facility. With that, our ordinance requires it to be in the general commercial as opposed to the office commercial. And with the heavy industrial across the street and general commercial on the south of this particular property, Planning Commission did recommend approval of this application. It has been reviewed by the individual departments that review these applications, and it has been posted and advertised, and there appears to be no conflicts of interest.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Mr. Menino at this point? Seeing none, we'll open up a public hearing relative to case Z16-04. Anybody wishing to come forward, may step forward. To speak for or against, may do so at this time. And if you would, please, when you do, name your name and your address for our clerk, please.
Ladies and gentlemen of the council, Mayor, Mr. Grove, Mr. Archer, my name is Mike Howren. I reside at 176 Solons Road in Cartersville. I'm here on behalf of our family to request rezoning for the parcels at 418, 420, and 422 Grasstail Road from OC to GC for the intended purposes to grow our family business of the self-storage industry. We would do climate control at this location. It would be very similar to our newest building at 1310 Highway 411 with three-sided brick, metal roof, metal structure. I did bring a photo of that building if you'd like to pass that around just to kind of see.
If you'll start it with our clerk, and we'll come around from there.
Okay.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Howren relative to this project? Thank you, sir. Anybody else wishing to step forward, speak for or against, may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing relative to file case Z16-04, and we will take this up for final consideration after Diane makes a comment.
No, I have a question, Mayor.
Okay.
Randy, you may know this, or it may be Public Works. Under the standards for zoning powers, Public Works has expressed concern regarding access to the site from Grassdale Road. Do you know?
They have met with them in a preliminary plan review meeting, and it'll be a plan review item, and it wasn't really relevant to the zoning, but again, it will have to be worked out as part of the plan review process.
So it comes under the development regs and, or just?
That is it. And the city engineer will work with them about access to the property.
So that was just a comment then?
That was just a comment.
Okay.
Mr. Menino.
Yes, sir.
Have the folks who live behind it expressed an opinion?
One, they were notified through the standard procedure, and additionally, the applicants have physically gone out and talked to every individual property owner that this abuts to the rear of the property. We didn't hear from them after the applicants had met with them, and the planning commission had asked something similar, and we still hadn't heard from them, so apparently there's no opposition to it.
Thank you. Any other questions for Mr. Menino? Thank you, sir. And again, this is the first reading. We'll take this up for final consideration in our first meeting. I believe that's November the 3rd. Next item is a deed of dedication. Mr. Grove.
Yeah, this protects the city relative to the new Kroger development. It allows them to encroach on some right-of-ways and also warrants the public improvements that they put in out there should they have anything go wrong with them during a warranty period. Notes water and gas improvements is recommended for your approval.
Okay. Questions or comments? If there are none, a motion, please.
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Anderson, you have the next item.
Okay, yes, Mayor and Council. This is for the leak mounds, Etowah Riverwalk Link. This is our, we signed a similar contract with DOT in December of 2014. There's a few minor changes. The city attorney has reviewed these, and I recommend this agreement and adopting resolution, and for the mayor to be able to sign, the city manager to be able to sign, and the city attorney to be able to sign these documents.
Okay.
What do you think? Are you going to gamble as to whether or not we're going to have to do this again before it's all over?
I hope not.
Any discussion on this item?
Make a motion to approve, Mayor.
Second.
Thank you. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Ms. Brock, you have the next two items, please.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is an agreement between the City of Cartersville and Kroger for the location of an electric vehicle charging station. Kroger has given us 2 parking spaces for us to use and locate a charging station on. The agreement states that we will maintain ownership and maintenance of the stations and that Kroger is not liable for any damage to the units. Keith has reviewed the document and made necessary changes on our behalf, and I ask for your approval of the agreement.
Okay. Any questions for Tamara on this item? And if there are none, a motion is in order.
So moved.
Second.
And a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Continue, please.
All right, thank you. The next is the actual purchase of the ChargePoint electric charging station from Hannah Solar. It will be located on the Kroger parking lot, and it's a method for electric vehicles to charge off Interstate 75 and for commuters in town. It can charge 2 cars at one time, and you can see the picture of it on the screen. The city of Ackworth has the ChargePoint brand of charger and have been pleased with the product. We received quotes from 2 suppliers and went with Hannah Solar. Their product has a better review and a wider network. The price difference between the 2 was minimal. The item was not planned for in the budget, but we have available funds in electric capital outlay, and it will be a budgeted item for next year for software maintenance. The cost of the unit is $8,725, and that includes installation and setup. And we ask for your approval to purchase the ChargePoint charging station.
That's going to sit out by the gas station?
Yes, it'll be located up near the road, near the gas stations at Kroger.
Do they maintain it? Who maintains it?
We will maintain it.
How long does it take a car to charge?
About 4 hours from 20%.
So they pull in there and then Go shopping.
They plug in, they'll scan their card, go shopping, go eat, charge it. And people with, yes, people with the EV cars know where to go. So they will specifically come off 75 to go to that location to charge. The next closest one is in Chattanooga. So it'll be Chattanooga to Cartersville, and we'll have direct access off 75.
Motion to approve.
Yeah.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Thank you.
carries unanimously. Thank you, Tamara. Mr. Hasselbrock, you have the next item, please.
Good afternoon, Mayor and Council. The electric department is in need of a transformer to serve the Shaw Create Center, which was a customer choice job of ours, and we've gotten 3 bids, and Annexter is the low bid for $6,580, and this is a budgeted item in our fiscal year 16-17, and we're recommending that we take the low cost bid, and it also has the total ownership cost, the lowest total ownership cost, and that price again is $6,580.
Transformer's not big enough for that 900 kW load, is it?
Yeah, that's it's 300.
Any questions or discussion? If not, a motion.
So
Motion
moved.
to approve. Second.
Somebody made, did you just do a motion and a second?
We're a team.
We said it
Connie, have you got
together.
something that makes sense down there? Good.
Either one.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. By the way, Councilman Tonsmeyer, you owe everybody $1 for your phone going off in the meeting. We'll let it go. We'll let it go this first time.
Put on my bill.
There you go. Ms. Bolander, you have the next item.
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is for the printing of the annual city calendar. We are going with recommending the bid for New Dimensions of $7,964 with an estimated postage cost of $1,800. The total would be $9,764, and this is a budgeted item.
Any questions for Rebecca on this item?
Mayor, I meant to ask this in a work session. How many do we send out? Do we send to everyone?
We send
Yes.
all the local printers, yes.
No, how many people?
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to think
Oh,
the bid.
okay.
We sent out last year, I think 8,600 calendars, and we usually get a few extra for handouts to customers at customer service and Parks and Rec.
Thank you. Any other questions or discussion? If not, a motion.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Mr. Jones, the next 2, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. First up is a replacement flight mixer. We have 4 of these mixers at the wastewater plant. As you may recall, in March of this year, council approved purchasing a spare mixer, and we had to use that 2 weeks ago. We cannot operate the plant on 3. We've tried it and learned the hard way that it does not work well. So we certainly want to thank you for having that spare, and obviously we would like to request that we get a replacement so that when this happens again, we can ride through that just as smooth as this time. For your information, we can rebuild the unit that failed. The base rebuild price of that is $11,752.56, but that unit operates 24/7, 365, except when we turn it off to clean it. And it's done so for 8 years. I feel like there's a very good chance that in order to rebuild it, we are going to have to buy additional parts over and above this 11,000 number, which would put us very close to the new price or new purchase price of $16,043.88. For that reason, I'm requesting the purchase of a new unit, and feel like that's the most prudent way for us to go for something that we can't do without and we use continuously.
Okay. Very good. Any questions about this for Mr. Jones? Not a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Bob.
Next item, this is a gearbox. This is a gearbox for our number 4 screw pump in the wastewater plant. We're all very familiar with this. This particular box has not had a catastrophic failure, but if anyone were to go out and listen to it, you would immediately know something is horribly wrong with it. So we are hopeful that we can get this one rebuilt for less than the new purchase price. A new box quoted from the original equipment manufacturer would be $51,694. What we are going to request is a not to exceed $35,000 for motor and gear to rebuild the existing gearbox that we have. If for some reason we start to go over that amount, then we will start considering and weighing our options on whether we want to go new or old. But based on our conversations with the people who rebuild these things, they actually say that we would be better off rebuilding the old one than buying the new one, because the old ones were built heavier. That's why it has lasted since 1973. And if all we have to do is basically stick bearings and seals back in it, they think we'd be better off rebuilding than we would be with new. So that's why we're sort of leaning heavy towards the rebuild and are willing to put maybe a little bit more money into this rebuild rather than just immediately jump into a new replacement.
The
So-
city attorney said he was on the city council during that year, and he probably would have voted to approve that.
I'm quite certain that is one of the many reasons why it has lasted as long as it has.
Yeah, I specifically remember asking for a heavy duty, whatever it is.
That is actually, yeah, whatever it is.
It probably has his name on it.
Yeah.
And there's an awful lot of what it handles involved in your comments there too, Mr. Archer. Is there any other relevant discussion or questions about this item, or would somebody please like to bail us out by giving votes? Thank you.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Bob. Chief Carter.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The first item I have for you this evening, we're respectfully requesting permission to purchase 3 sets of personal protective equipment for new firefighters. This equipment is commonly referred to as what you would hear on the streets as the structural turnout gear that the firefighters actually wear while fighting a structure fire and also working other different types of emergencies. The gear specification does meet current NFPA and OSHA standards as required for firefighters' protection. This equipment will be purchased from Firemaster, which is located in Tallapoosa, Georgia. Now, Firemaster is the actual manufacturer of this structural turnout gear, so we were able to actually get a better price by reducing the middleman and going directly to the manufacturer. We're asking for 3 complete sets, 1 for each firefighter, excluding their helmets, for a total of $5,492, and this is a budgeted item.
Thank you, Chief. Any discussion on this item? If there are none, then a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve. Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please.
Yes, sir. We're requesting approval to conduct our annual firefighter physicals, which are in compliance with NFPA 1582 and also OSHA standards of 1910. And this physical provides the annual required fitness clearance documents that we have to maintain on file every year for our firefighters. And the organization will come in that will do actually on-site exams for each individual firefighter, including lab draws, cardiac screening, respiratory screening, strength, wellness, flexibility, and all the markers as required under NFPA standards. SiteMed has been conducting these physicals for us now for approximately 6 years. Competitively, they've bid it out with a good price. We're currently under a 2-year plan working with them. The actual cost of the physicals, the base physical, is $270 per firefighter. There's 71 physicals that are completed. Now, this gives us a total of $19,170. However, after that baseline physical is ran, members of the hazmat team, they may have to have additional blood draws for heavy metal screening, and also we look for certain cardiac markers if we have a firefighter who may need that additional screening of a calcium scoring. So just as last year, with the same price, we're asking for amount up to but not to exceed $22,000. This is a budgeted item within our FY 16-17 budget.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve?
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Chief. Mr. Porter, you have the next 2, please.
Yes, Mayor and Council. The first item is the internet bandwidth. Currently purchasing 200 megs from Georgia Public Web for $2,300 a month. To meet the needs of our customers and growing customers, we request to purchase up to 1 gig for $3,250 a month. And this will allow us to serve, like I said, existing customers and new customers again.
Everybody good with that?
Motion to approve.
Thank you.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, Dan.
The next item is a net equalizer. The bandwidth shaper, basically, you're buying in certain increments of 100, 200 megs. That shaper allows us to shape that to serve the customer needs. Cost of that is $10,100, and I request approval of that purchase.
Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Chief McCann.
Mayor and council, this is a request to purchase two Vigilant Solution LPR license plate readers. I've negotiated with this company. It's a sole source company. Their distributor is Synergenic Solutions in Villa Rica. I've negotiated to purchase three, one for the Bartow Cartersville Drug Task Force that they're going to pay for with the federal asset forfeiture, and two for the city police department. And it's a budgeted item, and we intend on purchasing it with federal asset forfeiture money. The total is $35,933.
Any discussion on this item?
I will say something.
Yes,
I
sir.
said this in closed session, but in honor of our political season, I thought about this. This is a great comment. But the unintended, I guess, won't be a consequent benefit is with me, you know, with the fact that it reads people's plates, and if it's expired, it'll let you know by the cop pulling you over and giving you a ticket.
Yes, sir.
So this will help Steve Stewart bigly at the county. So you should have went to him and asked him to help pay a little bit of this. But well, that being said, motion to approve.
I think somebody else had a comment or question, but I
Oh,
appreciate
we
you
do?
trying to run the meeting for me.
I had to get my bigly in there.
Question. Ms. Tate, did you have a comment?
I wanted to ask the chief something. Is this a drawdown? It has to be two separate drawdowns from DEA when one is the drug task force and one is police. Is that right?
It is, and it's going to be, they're going to cut a check. It's going to run under one umbrella, which is the city police department. However, I was able to negotiate that every police officer in Cartersville and the drug task force can operate this equipment. This equipment is going to greatly help us to solve crimes, and it's going to be operating in the city 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and it's also going to be operating in the county and the city with the one that's being purchased at the drug task force. And we can query the entire system nationwide if we need to. So it's going to be a great help for us.
It interfaces with an awful lot of other agencies.
Yes, ma'am.
No,
And
I
I'm
think
sorry
it's
about your
terrific.
ticket.
No, it wasn't you. It's somewhere on Albany.
Question?
All right.
I got a question?
Yes, sir.
This reader, will it verify the month, date, and the year only? For
It actually
example,
reads-
my birthday is October 15th.
It actually,
You better get a tag before the 16th.
Too late.
it actually reads the tag, and every day, FBI, DEA, the state send hot files to this system. And so it's updated every day. It comes from databases like EPIC, FBI terrorism databases, NCIC, GCIC. So actually, we've tried one out, and it's very active.
And I know that, I mean, you're gonna use it locally, but I mean, when there are situations like Amber Alerts or things of that nature, that'll come in, when the police have information for specific vehicles, this is gonna prove a really valuable tool.
We've already used it because I've been negotiating with this company for at least 6 months. I've used it on a current investigation that we have ongoing right now. He had queried information, so it's already been helpful, even though we don't own it.
Great, thank you. All right, Mr. Stepp, I'll give you the first opportunity to make a motion since
You've hurt my feelings bigly.
Greatly.
I'll make a motion
I have a
second.
motion approved by Mr. Wren, I've got a second by Mr. Stepp. All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Chief. The next two items on the agenda, I'll just note that Mr. Jones asked for those to be removed because they found alternate vendors that were below the $5,000 threshold that we have to approve. So city saves a little money, we get to skip forward on the agenda. Mr. Reinhardt, before you come up, I'm gonna do it to you the second time tonight. We do have to add, I guess we're adding 2 items to the agenda tonight?
Sure.
2 items. Chair will entertain a motion to add those 2 items.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
2 items are added. Ms. Bolander, you've got the first of those added items, please, and then Mr. Sanders.
Yes, Mayor and Council, we would like to produce a video that would be used for public education and potential award applications that would educate the public on how tax dollars are spent and distributed. And we have got an estimate from Christopher Griffin Productions for $4,900 to be about a 5 to 6 minute video. And we would just like your approval on that.
Okay.
And I know we got the framework of an agreement, and the city attorney has looked over that. He's okay.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Sanders.
Thank you, Mayor, Council. Bartow County Solid Waste runs a Wednesday and a Friday cardboard recycling dumpster route, and their front-end loader truck that they use for that route died, and they have to buy a new truck, but the new truck's not going to come in until the end of November. And so we run 2 front loader routes, and we have 3 trucks. We have a backup truck for when one of our other trucks are down or being serviced. So they've asked us if we could run their route for them until they get their new truck in. And it's something that wouldn't put a undue burden on us that we could do, and we wanted to get y'all's approval.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Sanders. I'll just simply say, this isn't necessarily something that necessarily needed council approval. We would kind of want to shine a line on it just to show our appreciation or just kind of show that the cooperation between the city and the county in times of need, we're happy to help them out. I know that when we had our sinkhole situation, they helped us out a great deal, and so when you have intergovernments that are in a community working together, everybody benefits, so I appreciate you.
There's been other times I thought of after the work session. We built on North Avenue, it's off of Porter, adjacent to the railroad tracks. The slope of the road was failing, and we built a pretty large retaining wall there, and the county supplied an operator and their large backhoe to assist us in setting the retaining wall blocks. So there's been several times when the county has, assisted us with equipment and an operator.
Thank you very much.
Sure.
Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries
Thank you.
unanimously. Thank you, Tom. Mr. Reinhardt, you have the final 2, please, sir.
Honorable Mayor and Council, I bring before you tonight the letter of engagement for the audit services. The letter simply, in so many words, basically spells out what the audit firm will do and what we will actually do. In all practical purposes, they have already completed their field work, but this is just a formality that they've been kind of haunting me to get done. First of all, our current audit firm is Carr, Riggs and Ingram LLC. It does spell out the responsibilities, like I said, that the city will do and what the audit firm will do. It further spells out the procedures that they will be using, and finally basically winds up saying how much we will pay them, $41,500. I respectfully recommend the authorization for the mayor and the city manager and myself to sign off on the engagement letter for Carr, Riggs and Ingram LLC as submitted.
Okay. Any discussion on this item? And if there's none, a motion would be in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. And now for the financial report, sir.
We will be looking at the August 2015 and comparing to August 2016 numbers. In the general fund, the revenues decreased over last August by $133,000. Expenses have increased by $71,000. And the 3 areas of monthly revenues I look at and monitor are the local option sales tax. No surprise there, we have a decrease of $51,000. Police fines and forfeitures, we have a decrease there of $41,000. And building permits and inspection fees have an increase of about $13,000. In the water and sewer fund, revenues increased over last August by $253,000. Expenses decreased by $30,000. This is due simply to decreased capital expenses. In the gas fund revenues increased over last year by $101,000. Expenses increased by $63,000. This is due to increased personnel expenses, increased operating expenses, and increased cost of purchased gas. In the electric fund, revenues increased over last year by $359,000. Expenses decreased by $72,000, and this is due mainly to decreased capital expenses. In the stormwater fund, revenues increased over last year by $14,000. Expenses decreased by $41,000 due to decreased operating expenses. In the solid waste fund, revenues increased over last year by $11,000, and expenses increased by about $1,000. This is due simply to increased personal expenses and decreased operating expenses. And finally, in the fiber optics fund, revenues increased over last year by $42,000. Expenses decreased by $60,000 due to decreased operating expenses, decreased debt service expenses, and decreased capital expenses. That is my report for the evening.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr. Reinhardt on the financial report?
I'd just add the general fund's in deficit, as is gas. You would expect that this time of the year until property tax hits the general fund, until it gets cold enough to sell gas, and the unrestricted cash is trending up.
We still just kind of shake our heads at all the commerce that's going on in our community, and our local option sales tax continues to show a decrease.
Yeah.
And good luck getting an answer about that. So,
Thank you.
thank you, Mr. Reinhardt. Anybody got anything among here? Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening? And if you would, your name and your address for our clerk, please.
Yeah, my name's Josh Proctor. I live at 20 Oak Ridge Drive in Cartersville. First of all, I want to thank you, Mr. Mayor, council, for letting us be here tonight. I'm sure if you watch the news or you're on Facebook at all, you might recognize this. This is Heather McDonald. She disappeared September 18th of this year, just over a month ago. She's also my cousin. Her husband is here. Her mother is here, her sister, her children, as I'm sure you've heard them, are here. Many members of our search party that are out knocking on doors every single night are here. And there's nothing that we can do in this room. There's nothing that you can do to bring Heather home. Thankfully, Chief McCann is here, and his team, as well as the GBI, the FBI, are doing everything that they can do, and we are thankful for that. But the circumstances of her disappearance, I think, is something that can change in our community. Namely, the parking lot where her car was discovered, keys laying on the ground next to it, all of her belongings still in the vehicle, very suspicious circumstances. But here's a problem with the investigation. As we've spoken to investigators and as we've spoken to other people in the community that are helping us out, is we can't place Heather there at all, other than word of mouth. We have reports. I'm not going to go into too much detail and make Chief's job any more difficult than it already is, but we can't place her there, and the reason that we can't place her there is because that there are no working surveillance cameras at that hotel. Over the past month, our team has every single night knocked on every single one of these hotel communities' doors multiple times, not just here, but Cobb County, in Adairsville, just anywhere we get an opportunity to get her name and face out there. There are no fewer than 7 or 8 of these types of hotel communities in Cartersville and Bartow County. There are a couple of them that we have been through that operate on some level of responsibility, meaning they have cameras, the people there seem safe. You can tell the ones that have the cameras because the people that are there are typically working class, attempting to get their lives straight, or they are self-professed addicts, but they're trying to stay safe. And then you go into places like the Courtesy Inn, where our team has been run off by the owner, me personally, told, we're not going to help you, we've done enough.
And gonna interject here just for a second, because I want you to have your say, but traditionally, I mean, speak what you mind, but if you just leave company names out of it.
Absolutely.
And whatnot, that's.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, to not name any, but to just say that there are several in this town, and where there are cameras, it seems like a bit of a safer environment. Where there are not cameras, there is a lot of shady business. I can tell you right now that much of our search team has had to leave the hallways and go sit outside because the drug fumes are so rampant in there that you get a contact high just by walking through the building. So I'm not going to keep your time. What I am asking is, I know that already the council has been working recently on doing whatever you can to make these places a little more accountable and a little safer, but I could just tell you, while we can't bring Heather home, this may help the next girl in this situation if these places are forced to keep working surveillance. We know that there are cameras in most of these places, but they're not being forced to make them work. So I know you can't do anything this evening, but I'd love for that conversation to begin and for you guys to work on that moving forward. It would help the chief, it would help us, and it would help your children and grandchildren in the future.
I will tell you that that conversation is already underway and in work. The ordinance that we passed just at our last meeting was the first step in several, and that is something that is well down the road, and your point is well taken. And I don't like to speak for council, but I'll just wish your, I know it's a very difficult time for you all. I know that Chief McCann has spent hours of his personal time in addition to professional time, and I know it's got our full attention, and my heart goes out to y'all, and I hope that there's some kind of resolution soon. Mr. Archer.
You know, I don't know how that's happened, but, you know, as you know, I drafted a recent ordinance that added some additional things to hotels and extended stay. I guess you call them hotels, whatever you call them. And when I did that, I went to the existing ordinance, one that's been in place for quite some time, and it had a heading that included security cameras. And frankly, I just took that and copied it and gave it to my paralegal, and I said, here, do this. Well, I missed the fact that although security cameras was mentioned in the heading of a paragraph, there was nothing that addressed security cameras. And I think y'all, you know, talked about that. Keith was here last week, but I'll tell you, we will do something about security cameras in that order.
We'd appreciate it, because we believe that they had them working there, that Chief McCann's job on this would probably already be done, or we would at least know more than we know now.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
For your comments.
Thank you.
Good luck. Is there any other business that needs to come before council this evening? Seeing none, Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Oh, there you go.
You know, I'll get on that.
Motion.